Now, the bodies of the kids were found mutilated. And what had happened was he, the little girl was 6, and they were out playing out in the country, farm kids, you know. He attempted to rape this little girl, and her 9-year-old brother come upon the scene. Now, what had happened next was he killed the children. He decapitated and disemboweled the little girl, and he cut the little boy's throat ear to ear, nearly cut his head from his body, threw him in a brush pile, and caught him on fire. Now, that is a horrific crime, okay? Well, they searched all night for the children when they didn't come home, and they found him at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was just a horrible, horrible sight. Now, the news about this crime, of course, you can imagine, it spread rapidly through the town, through the neighboring counties, and Sheriff Staley was the sheriff at that time. And Charles Hart was suspected of the murder because someone saw him in the area at the time the children were out playing. Okay, so Charles Hart was arrested, and he confessed to the crime, and of course, he was convicted, and he was sentenced to death. All right. Well, you know, he was in the Paulding County Jail here, and there was a mob of 300 to 500 men organized to hang him. Okay, because they were mad. They were, because that was just such a heinous crime. Okay, so this mob was coming to the jail, and supposedly Sheriff Staley got wind of this, and he snuck Charles Hart out the back of the jail and took him to Columbus in a carriage for his execution. Now, here's where I'm finding a little problem with that. And I recently spoke with a gal who said she has been researching this case for a long time. She thinks he really was taken to Columbus and executed there. But back during this time that this happened, and it was, oh my gosh, 1888 or something like that. Yeah, 1888 was the year. Back during this time, all the counties were responsible for carrying out their own capital punishments. It wasn't until much later, like 1896 or something like that. I'm real close, within a year, maybe 1896, maybe, that they were transferred to the state capitol for execution. Yeah, no, wait. The murder happened 1894, yeah. 1894, and it was 96 when they transferred the capital punishment. So anyhow, getting on with this, I am kind of feeling that the mob took Charles Hart out at the jail, or very, very near the jail. I have went to the Ohio State Reformatory and looked up Charles Hart, and pictures there of him too. And everyone who's been executed way back from when they started doing keeping records, it tells, you know, who they are, what they did, and when they were executed, and where their punishment was held out. And when I looked him up there, it said Paulding County. So I'm thinking that maybe the angry mom got him and nobody wanted to fess up for it because it was such a horrible crime against children, and they would have figured eye for an eye, you get what you deserve. But I haven't been able to prove this theory. So actually, that is the case I'm working on, and I do think that we talked to Charles Hart up there on occasion at the jail. We haven't got any confession from his spirit. Um, we know he likes whiskey and ladies. That's what we do know. So that is a case we are currently working on to find out if he was indeed transferred to Columbus for his execution or the mob got him, the mob of angry townspeople. I'm starting to think it was the mob of angry townspeople. And the next case that I'm going to touch briefly on is the Gary Murray hanging death. Now, I think there is much more to this story, only we get bits and pieces every year on the anniversary of his death. Now, it was reported, not in the Paulding County newspaper, but in all the neighboring towns. It was reported in that newspaper that July 30th, 1998, Gary Murray was found hanged in a first floor cell block at 7:20 in the morning. Okay, well, I did not know this until strange things started happening the very first year that I bought the jail. Lights were coming on, like 2 days prior to his death day. Lights were coming on in the jail when there was no breakers on in the building. So it made me go and find out what happened significantly in this building on this date. So went to the local library, had to comb through, the jail file, and found articles about his death. And it said that Gary Murray was found, he had fashioned a bed sheet as a noose and hung himself from a beam in the cell block, in the common area of the cell block, and he was still on his feet when they found him. Okay, so I confirm all of this, but strange things happen in the building every year, a couple of days prior to, up until about 4 a.m. the day of his death. So I think that he died like around 3:30 in the morning. I think we got that pinpointed down. But what I'm looking for on this case is if there was any foul play. Because did he actually hang himself, or was there foul play involved? And they just happened to find him when they did their breakfast round. We do every year. He communicates with us, and we get a little more information. I am looking for any descendants of Gary Murray, and I'm also like his children, because he was being held in the Paulding County Jail on a child support case, and he'd been in there for 5 days prior to his death. So I'm actively looking for his living children, or maybe his wife that he had at the time, because I would really like to get a picture of Gary. So we could put a face with his name. And we recently had an event, which was a birthday event for Gary, to kind of celebrate him instead of just the tragic event that happened. And he seemed to enjoy it. And we may do this again next year. So if anybody out there has any information on a Gary Murray that was from Alabama who lost his life at the jail, please send me an email at 187pi@187pi.com. I'm actually looking for his children, and which I haven't been able to find, and a picture of Gary. So real quick, let me let you all in on what's coming up here in August at the old Paulding County Jail. We have this weekend, we have Jailbreak Code 9, our escape games, and we do the escape games out of the jail because they help fund the restoration efforts, and we are currently working on trying to replace the heating and cooling in the jail so that we can continue on with the facelift. We got to do the heating and cooling first. And the escape games, they are so much fun. Just imagine you are locked up in the cell blocks of Ohio's most haunted jail, and you have to figure out how to get out. This month, the theme is Dr. Rubenstein's Human Experiments, and it is so much fun. So if you are an escape game enthusiast or have never played before, come check it out. It's also for a good cause. Next month, September, we will be going to Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky. September 14th through the 16th. We also have a ghost hunt weekends ghost hunting event coming up September 7th and 8th. There are still tickets remaining for that. Ghost Hunt Weekends is one of the largest paranormal event companies here in the United States, with an office in the UK as well. Fabulous, fabulous paranormal event company. They get people into some of the most haunted locations, and their event will be going on September 7th and 8th. You can get a ticket at ghosthuntweekends.com. Just click on the old Paulding County Jail. And I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's taken time out of their busy schedules to listen to this live broadcast tonight. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. And you know you can always listen to the show archives at your leisure at Google Play, iTunes, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. So I want to thank everyone. Everyone have a great evening, and good night, friends.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.